From mom, stepmom, wife, and co-parent, come with me on this new chapter of new beginnings and adventures to becoming Bonnie, a different mom and a co-parent. Hi everybody, this is Bonnie. Welcome to my first full episode of Becoming Bonnie. And today I want to talk about starting to find myself. And I say starting because I feel like I'm still finding myself. I feel like every day something happens, and if it's positive, I go, yes, this is who I'm trying to become. Or something negative happens, or I do something and I say no, and I reflect from it, and I say, how can I grow from this? Because this is not the type of person I want to be. When I first made the decision to ask for a divorce, I was heartbroken. Despite the fact that I was the one that asked for the separation, I was still sad and hurt. And before I go into how I dealt with all of that, I want to point out that I still live with my ex-husband for a year after we decided to get a divorce. I was in my room and he was in our son's room at the end of the house. And I know that sounds weird, but we made it work somehow. But I do not recommend doing that if you don't have to. And I think it kind of delayed my healing, but everything at its own time and for a reason. So I started going out every weekend and drinking even more. And I was doing it because I was single, I was free, I wanted to go out and do stuff that I couldn't do before. But in reality, I think I was doing it to numb the pain. And for a while it was working, but in reality it wasn't, because the problems and the feelings were still there. So after months and months of going out and drinking, I decided I was done. I didn't stop drinking altogether, but I did decide to drink less, and I decided to drink for fun, not to numb the pain or to forget about my problems, but just for fun here and there. And I decided that it was time to get my life back on track, whatever it was that meant. I felt like I needed a clean slate, which is hard to do when you're living with the reason you're in so much pain and need the clean slate. So I started with my room. I felt like since we shared the house, my room was like my sanctuary and my little sanctuary of peace. So I painted my bedroom, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but even that was hard for me because every decision I made in the past 9 years with my husband, I ran through him. And to not say, oh, you like this color for our room, was hard for me. But I did it. I painted my room and I bought a new bed, new mattress, new sheets, got rid of clothes and shoes, and let me tell you, it made such a difference. When I laid in my bed in my own room, my new room, I just felt peace. I felt at ease, and it was such a good feeling, and I loved it. So I decided to declutter my house. I got rid of toys, pots, pans, stuff that I had in the garage that I was just hoarding. I got rid of my couches, my dining room table, pictures on the walls, everything. Well, almost everything. And then I lost my godbrother. And most people just have godbrothers or sisters that they rarely see or knew growing up. And not that I saw my godbrother all the time or talked to him, because to be honest, when we were adults, we didn't. But he was instrumental in my life growing up. He was my brother. And I grew up as an only child until I was 10. So I kind of grabbed siblings wherever I could. And he was the best little brother that I could ever have. He was only a couple years younger than me, and he made my childhood. But I didn't know how I was going to deal with losing him on top of my separation. I was just now picking up the pieces. And again, they were shattered on the floor into even tinier pieces. And now there was a piece that I was never going to get back. And that was really hard to deal with. Not to mention that a month before I decided to separate from my husband, I had lost my godfather. Somebody that I loved so much, and I saw him as a father figure. All of that in the span of 9 months was just a lot for me. But I knew that I didn't want to go back to how I was dealing and handling everything before with my drinking. During the time of helping to lay my godbrother to rest, I prayed. I prayed so much. And despite having family and friends there for me, I didn't have the person that I had relied on for the past 10 years to comfort me. My god brother and his immediate family live 2 hours away. So I would go there for a couple of days and then come home for a couple of days to be with my children. And mind you, when I came home, my ex-husband was here because we lived together. So I would just lay in bed and cry. Even though my children and him were in the house, I still felt so alone. So one day I came home right before the funeral and I went outside where he was at and I asked him for a favor. And he could have said no and he could have said yes, and I took a risk and I asked him for a hug. And he gave me a hug and I just remember crying in his arms, and I felt like this was the first time since I got the news about my god brother that I felt safe and that I was actually able to cry. And in that brief moment, I felt like we were friends again. And I knew that despite the fact that we were separated and we didn't speak much unless we really needed to right now, that our friendship was still somewhere in there. After my godbrother's funeral, I just needed a breath of fresh air, a break from life, from everything that I was going through in my heart, in my life, in my house, just everything. I had never taken a trip alone since I had my daughters. We went everywhere together. But I decided for my own mental health and to be able to be in the right state of mind, I just needed this. I just felt it in my heart. And I honestly cannot thank my ex-husband enough for stepping up and taking care of the girls when I was breaking into a million pieces because of this emotional distress of losing my godbrother. And I booked my flight to Atlanta and I went with my cousins and my primis, and I took my trip, 4 days of hanging out and laughing and being around my cousins and just so much love and just putting all of my problems in the back of my mind and honestly just being Bonnie. This trip was a trip that I had done a few times before with my mom and my daughters, but this one was just so different and life-changing. This trip showed me that sometimes I need a break from life. And before, when I would take my mommy breaks, it was, taking my snacks into my room and the girls were in the living room and that was my break. But no, I'm entitled to more than just that break. I need a real break where I can relax and just put my mind at ease for more than a couple of hours and just enjoy my life. So I came home refreshed and ready to enjoy my life and not just live day by day. I had already decluttered my house and gotten rid of everything. So I painted my entire house, room by room. I bought new couches, a new dining table, new plates, new utensils, new home decor, a fresh start, and it was the best feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It just felt like this little ray of sunshine that I really needed at the moment. And none of this takes a day to achieve. It takes time. 2 months after this trip, my ex-husband moved out, and it was painful. It was another punch to the gut, even though every single day I would ask him, when are you moving out? I was still sad when he left. But this just meant it was the beginning of something new for my girls and I. So now they had their own rooms. So I repainted, we bought new furniture, and it was a completely new start. And I created this motto for myself. I said, everything I do has to bring me a little bit of joy. From cleaning to going out to any celebration to anything we do. So now I clean blasting music to put me in the mood. And since now my house that was so cold for so long was becoming a home again, I enjoy cleaning our space. And this is our happy, safe home now. I started reading again. I love reading, but I rarely got the chance. I mean, what mom really gets the chance. So I made time. I started waking up an hour before my mommy duties and drank my tea and read my book until it was time to wake them up and get ready for the day. And it was hard. I mean, who wants to wake up at 5 in the morning to read? But I did it and it was worth it. I went back to church. I love church. and I felt a healing over my soul every time I went to church, and I really missed that feeling. I started going out with my daughters alone, which is nerve-wracking, and if you're a single parent, you know how nerve-wracking that can be. I would have many dates with them. We would get up, get dressed, go out, buy them flowers, and it would just set us up for our week, and it was wonderful, you know, instead of just getting takeout and eating in front of our phones and iPads. It was great. At this time, I didn't have per se a 9 to 5. I have a baking and events business, and during this time that was my main source of income. Well, my ex was living with us, so that helped, but now it was time for me to go back to work. I had worked as an after-school supervisor for many years until we decided that I would stay home with the kids, and I was doing that for 3 years prior to getting divorced. I knew I wanted to go back to work, but I didn't want a job with a lot of responsibility. I wanted a job where I can kind of clock in, clock out, go home to my kids, you know? So I took an office job at a school, and it was great. The girls and I were enjoying life. We took a few trips. I took a no kids trip with one of my bestest girlfriends. And a few months later, I had a conversation with the principal of my old job, and he was at a new school, and a wonderful work opportunity came up. I had spent months working on my healing and my person, who I wanted to be. Like I say, everything at its own time and for a reason. And in my heart, I knew it was time, and I was ready. These next few months were monumental to my healing journey. I rekindled old friendships, created new friendships, and have created so many memories that forever I will cherish. I took trips that I only dreamed of taking, some alone, which were wonderful, and some with my daughters, and each one showed me something different about myself as Bonnie or as a mother. And 2 years after I asked for this divorce, I can't say that I'm fully healed, because I am human and I am sad from time to time, but I can say that I am so happy to be in this place that I am today, to have the friendships I have, to have created the memories I have, to been to the places I've been, and to be as happy as I am today. I am blessed to be this happy woman in order to be a happy mother for my girls. And it was not an easy journey to get here, and it's not going to be an easy journey moving forward, but I'm excited for everything else that life has in store for me and my girls, and for myself in this journey of continuing to heal from the pains and learning how to be the best Bonnie that I can be for myself and for my daughters. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week with another one. Bye.